Live. I just noticed the sky in the background. I went on Instagram. I was like, oh my God, that is the sky. So I had to adjust my laptop so those of you on LinkedIn and Facebook can see it too. How epic is that sky tonight? Just take a moment to appreciate nature, right? I know we're in the den. We're in Dave's den tonight because he's traveling home from work. So we always call it school. So I was about to say school. He's traveling home from work. But yeah, today I want to come on and just discuss strategies to help you say no without actually saying no. So alcohol is such a big feature around the festive period. And many of us, including myself, don't really want to get drunk, feel rubbish the next day, be super low in energy. But it can be really hard to say no, right? You're like, oh, but we're adults, but we know the grief you can get when you're out, and it's not necessarily friends. Quite a lot of the pressure comes from family and extended family members during get-togethers at Christmas. So I just want to share with you some strategies around that, ones that I'll be using too. So hashtag replay. But I mean, wow, look at this sky, stunning, right? I know. I feel like we should just like sit here and stare at the sky for a bit until it gets really dark. But anyway, let's get into it because time is precious, and I do want to go and stare at that sky. So yes, as I mentioned, kind of positioning the pressure around alcohol, and I feel it too, right? My family are quite big drinkers. The social status, if you like, or where I used to be when I was at the peak of my ill health in terms of not looking after my body, as I used to be a big drinker too. It was kind of the done thing, and I'd be the one who organised the gym nights out. I'd be the one who would make sure that everyone else got home. So I wouldn't necessarily be the one who was completely plastered, but I would have enough alcohol that I'd feel rubbish the next day. But I was always on alert. I was the person who always kind of looked out for other people. But yeah, so I used to drink quite a lot. Just I think I used it as a bit of an extra energy boost initially. So when you're feeling tired, you get home from work, you're stressed out. And you still got stuff to do, then I used to use it as a bit of a boost to keep me going or to get that false energy, especially because I'm a vodka Coke drinker. And over the years, like it just doesn't serve me. I think one, I find it a waste of money. I'd rather spend that experience on something else. And it's also things that put me off, like going to concerts when other people are, even like shows, right? Like the Playhouse in Edinburgh and stuff. Even shows when there's like these people who are all absolutely out their trolley, causing fights, arguing with people, and just generally being annoying and drunken and spoiling that whole concert or the show where they're not even present. And it actually just put me off quite a bit going to concerts because I just can't be doing with drunk people. And it's also that thing about drunk people are quite boring, right? Unless you're drunk, drunk people are boring. Like the nonsense, if they even come out with it. They can be funny to a point, and then you get a bit like, oh, this is a bit dull. Especially when it's family members. So I want to give you some strategies around this and what I employ around family members, alcohol, and yeah, I think it's fair to say friendship circle now. We're not really big drinkers, so everyone's kind of on page with that. Where we might go out and have one drink, or like Sunday we had like 3 drinks, and that was us done, and we're quite happy with that. And so a lot of the friendship circle I'm in now, people want to take care of their health. They're not big drinkers. They've got shit to do. They want to get up the next day and do those things and live life with energy. So a part of it is around who you're around, but I appreciate you don't necessarily want to have to get rid of your friends. So that's not always possible. So I want to share with you 5 ways to help. So one of the ways you can do it is around planning. So this is one I'm employing for the Christmas period. Planning activities that don't revolve around alcohol. Now, what do I mean about that? I mean about going out for a walk. So I don't know if your Christmas morning normally starts off with fizz, bubbles, and then they start drinking at midday onwards. It's all about actually planning activities that delays the drinking. So if you might go for a walk in the country, a walk in the beach, and this is not me about me being a killjoy. This is about you actually enjoying the festive period and coming out with energy rather than feeling like groggy and rubbish and having the January blues when actually all it is one big massive hangover from excessive alcohol and food. So this is really about you get to make choices, because I know deep down, and not even deep down, I have conversations with clients, and a lot of clients don't want to drink at all. A lot don't want to drink to excess, and they feel like they have to, or they're part of the social circle with their family that is just expected of them. And I mean, I'm not talking about young clients here. I'm talking about, clients my age. I'm talking about clients in their 50s, 60s. It is a real challenge. So one of the things, as I mentioned, number one is around planning activities that aren't focused around alcohol. So it can be board games, getting out for a walk, going out to countryside, the beach, whatever it is. Normally it's about changing up that environment or what happens within that environment. So if you think about planning activities around it, so things I'm planning is going out for lunch for a place that doesn't serve alcohol. I'm also planning on getting out for walks and being active, so we're not just sat in the house where people are bored and just like, oh, have a drink, have a drink, have a drink. Because I'd rather just have energy and be able to do stuff. So that's number one, plan activities that don't involve drinking. Number two is about a little bit of what I just touched on, environment. So if it's an environment where heavy drinking normally takes place, try and avoid that environment. So if you know it's a location that does cheap offers on drinks, try and suggest another location. So for example, a Witherspoons is dirt cheap, right? So maybe try and go to somewhere that's a little more expensive, so then people will slow down on the drinking, enjoy the drink a bit more. So think about how you can change up the environment. So if it's an environment that is a place, a location that's normally kind of built with excess drinking and you don't want to be part of that, then think about how you can change up that environment. Now, one of the challenges you may have, especially with Christmas Day, Boxing Day, the chances are that place you're going to might be linked to heavy drinking. So when you can't necessarily change the environment, just tune into your emotions, tune into your feelings, and make choices about what's going to serve you. So actually, if you feel like, oh, family dynamics, politics is a bit tense, then maybe you having more alcohol isn't going to help with your tolerance of parents, siblings, whatever it may be. So think about how you want to show up, and alcohol will relax you or will antagonize you, and you feel like actually it's going to get intolerable and you end up having family arguments and stuff. So in that environment, if you can't avoid it, then tune into your emotions, how it makes you feel, and also how you want to wake up the next day. Because if you think you're going to not relax, and actually, chances are alcohol is going to switch on the frustration. It might relax you initially, and afterwards it overtakes, and then you might get frustration with like, have more, have more, have more. You do get a choice, right? So control it, control it. You get to choose. How are you feeling when you feel that point that you may be getting a bit tipsy, feel like, oh, I've probably had a bit too much now, then have some water and just say, I'm having some water right now. I'll have a drink in a bit. I'll have a drink in a bit. And then that's an easy way to kind of get people off your case. If you're like, I'm just going to have some water right now, I'll have a drink in a moment. And then you can go and help yourself. And if you're doing like a measure or whatever it is, then just pour yourself the soft drink and don't even have the alcohol. That's what I do at times. I just pour myself the Coke, don't even add the vodka, and nobody knows the difference, right? So it's really about, if you can't change that environment, what you can do within that environment by tuning into how you're feeling. Are you getting irritated? Are you getting to the point where you feel tipsy and you're not comfortable where you're at? You feel like you're getting antagonized? Then look at what you can do around having water and just having soft drink, pouring your drink when no one else is around to see how strong it is or not strong. And maybe even a glass, just having the water and see if anyone even notices. Probably won't. Okay, now that was number two. So number one was make plans that are non-alcohol based. Number two, did I say number one? Number one was around making plans that are non-alcohol based. Number two is around the environment and trying to avoid the environment where excess drinking is related to it. Or if you can't do that, strategies within that so that you tune in and don't drink as much. All right, next one up is about energy, choice and energy. So I know that by planning activities, people won't want to miss out on those. Oh, it'd be lovely to make that a new tradition, right? So by developing things and making new traditions is going to help people reduce the drinking. Why don't we start a new family tradition where we go for a walk on the beach on Boxing Day? Okay, now things like that, somebody may need to drive. So who's going to be the driver? Which means, especially in Scotland, pretty much a zero alcohol limit for driving. In England, I know it's a bit different. So really, you're talking about somebody not drinking beyond, depending on what time you're going to go, beyond 10 o'clock at night. So that can help. That can help. So saying, well, we don't want to miss out. We really want to go to the beach and set up that new tradition. Then actually, by establishing a new tradition, that helps. That goes, oh, I can't drink because I'm going to drive in the morning. Go, okay, then cool. I want to be present. I want to have the energy. I want to enjoy going to the beach. So actually, I'm going to join you in not drinking. So again, it's the strategies to take off around drinking. So by setting up a new tradition, something that means people can't drink, but they can't drink in a way that's telling them not to drink. They can't drink in a way that is like, oh, actually, if we want to do X, Y, and Z, then we actually better not have a drink. And if we want to be present and enjoy that beach walk, then we can't have a drink beyond 10 o'clock. That's cool. Then that's going to help reduce. Then there's also number 4, the low alcohol options. Now I know you get a lot of like spirits now that are like 0 alcohol. And it's quite interesting actually. A few clients have taken these to book clubs, to family events, to 0 alcohol, and suddenly everybody's into 0 alcohol and they're trying it. And they're going, oh, I'll have some of that, I'll have that. And my clients get quite mad because it's not cheap, right? It's about the same price as a full alcohol bottle. And suddenly everyone's drinking their 0 alcohol and they're like, what the hell? And that shows you, right? There's actually so many women who just don't want to drink because they know they're going to feel crap, but that culture means they get pulled into it. So yeah, you could turn up with a 0 alcohol, so you still got the taste, you still feel like you're taking part, but you don't have the side effects of the alcohol. So that's one win. Another way is, your white wine spritzers, what did you used to call it? Your lager top, things like that you're not drinking as much alcohol, but you're still having a drink. By low alcohol beers, by the low alcohol, 0 alcohol spirits, and then also looking at things like spritzers. Also some tall cocktails. Now, I'm not talking about a Long Island iced tea. It's like shot after shot after shot, but I'm talking about ways that you can get more fruit juice or a lemonade or kind of water, things to water down the alcohol basically. So you're having a drink, but you're not consuming as much alcohol. So get a little creative with it. There's loads of different things out there now. So like I say, it can be your 0 alcohol beers, spirits. It can be mixers, having longer drinks rather than the shorter drinks. And the size of your glass too, right? My mum has a small glass for me, so they're not going to get much Coke in that, right? So it's looking at your measures and how you can ensure that you're having a bit of a longer drink. Okay, last one, number 5. This one's really thinking about you. Where are you at now? How do you feel towards drinking? How you feel if you drink to excess over Christmas? How are you going to feel at the back end of that? And the same goes for New Year, right? Are you actually somebody like myself who wants to kind of not really bother drinking, but you do feel like it's a bit of a necessity in terms of keeping everybody happy? And I know there'll be people saying, oh, you should be able to say no and that's it. I get it, right? It's not that easy. Politics of families is really not that easy. So in order to, what's the word, appease people, and also so that I can enjoy the festive period without too much grief, I'm going to have a few drinks. But I don't intend to drink shitloads. I don't intend to wake up the next day feeling rubbish. So one way you can do is think about, what is your goal? How do you want to come out the back of Christmas? What would a win be for you? And whilst ultimately deep down your desire might be not to drink at all, but you know that's not actually going to be a reality for you this year, because it is all about having conversations with family members, building them up. If you're like me and they're used to you having a drink and being a bit of a drinker, then as much as I've been working on that over time to change that social positioning, it takes time. It takes time for family to come on board and support that. So you really got to be building them up to that. So the reality is, it's not easy to just say, no, I'm not having a drink to your family if they're anything like mine. So I am going to have a couple of drinks. One, so I can enjoy the festive period without too much grief. But what I'm not going to do is drink to the point that I feel drunk, I feel rubbish. I'm going to be tuning into my energy throughout. I'm going to be planning activities that are non-alcohol based. The environment is one where they'll be expected to be drinking, but what I'm going to do around that is just tune into my vibes, my mood, and focus on the plans we've got, looking at having longer drinks, having water in between, having longer drinks so it's not short measures, and mixing it up with different fruit juices or tonics. So we're not consuming as much alcohol. We've got activities happening which aren't alcohol based. We're arranging things with people. That means actually there's incentive for other people not to drink as much. And we're choosing how we want to wake up in terms of our energy and tune into that before, whilst we're drinking, and after we're drinking, and the next day. And then we're going to come out of that period feeling like, actually, it was okay. Yes, I had a drink, but I didn't have more than I planned. I kind of stuck to what I felt good for me. I stuck to what felt good for my energy, and it still meant I could take part. So there's some strategies for you. You've covered off 5 around when you're up against it with saying no to alcohol, things you can do. Because like I say, I know people are like, oh, you should be able to say no and that's it. I also know the complexities and the realities. But yeah, hope that helps. Let me know. Let me know your thoughts. Any strategies that you might have outside of that to help you say no. Other than just say no, because like I say, it's not necessarily realistic for a lot of us. But yeah, let me know what strategies are you going to use to help you not drink as much or drink more than you intended. What strategies are you going to put in place so you don't fall into that pit of despair, shall we call it? So you get into January of the blues because you're just feeling rubbish, because actually you failed to say no or failed to follow the strategies that you wanted to. Yeah, so let me know, what have you got planned? What strategies are you going to use? What ways are going to help you not drink to excess or drink to the limitations that you want to do? And let me know any plans that you've got other than walks and getting out to the beach and board games. What other ideas do you have around non-alcoholic kind of related tasks and activities? Let me know your thoughts. Hope that helps, team. Like I say, remember, we do have strategies. There's always strategies. There's always options. I'm all about the options. So I really do hope that helps you. And that's me sharing with you some of the ones that I'm going to be using over the up and coming festive period. Take care, and I shall catch you soon.